Hey, Shalom Akim. Call hello Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakal Kodash. Of course, once again, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Alright, who through the Holy Spirit continue to teach us this truth. Alright, this is Nauman with the DC camp. And lo and behold, what do we have here? This is from newsbreak.com, coming from the Hill, or by way of the Hill. Alright. It says House sends anti-Asian hate bill to Biden's desk. Wow. Get a load of this shit. Doesn't that just make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside? Nah, I didn't think so. Because if you're an Israelite, and especially if you're the ones of Gad, alright, whose land this is, alright, and then Southern Kingdom was brought over here, and well, it doesn't seem as every other minority, so-called minority group, just leapfrogs over you. All right, here we are with what we've had to put up with for centuries. All right, and I'm not trivializing what these people went through. Don't get me wrong. Everyone's aware of the stories of how Esau screwed them over. Also, all right, and this is not, we all know that. Let me get it real quick. This is Daniel chapter 9. All right. This is Daniel chapter 9, verse 12. It says, And he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us, all right, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. Wink, wink, guess who? For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. All right. Again, not meaning to trivialize what happened to these people, but there's right and there's wrong. And what's happening here is just another slap in the face, all right? And it's being done openly. They're not even trying to be on the sly and slick about it, all right? Now, one thing that I'd like to point out, and that's the reason for this video, because a lot of people probably, whoever sees it, that is, are going to probably, well, you're racist. No, I'm not racist. This happened earlier this year, and this person got in a lot of trouble, but they brought up a good point. All right, it says San Francisco school board member accused Asians of using white supremacy to get ahead. All right. It says a member of the San Francisco school board referred to Asian Americans as house niggers in a 2016 tweet thread. All right. Alyssa Collins, that's her name, who serves as vice president on the school board, published a long Twitter thread in December 2016 in which she explained her intention to combat anti-black racism. And we all know what she's talking about. All right, even across the waters, they have shows in blackface in the Asian communities. All right, they mock us in all sorts of ways. They come into our neighborhoods, they own the stores, they take that money out of our neighborhoods, of course, and go out in the suburbs. I mean, the so-called hair care business, I can speak only because I saw the documentary as it pertains to Los Angeles, California. Man, those Koreans own that lock, stock, and barrel. And, of course, Jake being under the curses at one time, they were doing all right. All right, but it is a multi-billion-dollar industry now. That's just that one thing. She goes on to say, Collins accused many Asian Americans, all right, teachers, students, and parents, of promoting the model minority BS and of using white supremacist thinking to assimilate and get ahead. And yes, they do. All right, they do. And like I say, everyone uses us to springboard ahead. All right, and it's like, our people, aren't you tired of being used? All right, here's another one. This is from Wikipedia. And it says inter-minority racism in the United States. All right. It says it's prejudice and discrimination between racial minorities. All right. And they have to throw in, you know, southern and northern kingdoms when it comes to Israel, you know, so-called African Americans and Latinos. All right. And that's been, you know, all you have to do is see the movie Blood In, Blood Out. You know, that should be a coming of age thing there. All right, let's see how much time I got. Okay. It says tension between what people tend to forget, what was the final straw that broke the camel's back, was what happened out in L.A. when the Rodney King riots. All right, the L.A. riots. You know, they want to say Rodney King, but no. What happened was, uh, what was it? This young Jake. She was like 15 or something like that, 16, whatever have you. And she was accused of stealing something, and she was trying to get away to. I think she was Korean. Pulled a gun out, shot her in the back of the head. The girl had the money in her hand. All right, and all she got was probation. All right. Anyway, it says tensions between African Americans and Asian Americans. All right. Then you get the history here. Uh, Goes into Naturalization Act of 1790, and then of course we know that that was largely about Israelites. You know, these Edomites not wanting us to have any privileges or rights or whatever. All right. Then it goes on from there. I don't have time to go into it in detail. I'll just post it. Then it goes into the Klan, and we know the history of them and the railroads. How that's why I said how Esau did them. That's why I said, you know, I'm not trying to trivialize, and the opium dens and all that stuff. Uh, and that goes up into the Boxer Rebellion and over there in China. All right, it's a whole lot of crap. It's a whole lot of things. All right, but again, here we are. Again, they use Jake to do shit like this. See, we have to save you from them niggers. You understand? So we're gonna pass legislation because Jake is stupid. Let's call it what it is. Why are you getting involved in this? Clearly, this was Trump instigating shit. All right. Anyway, it says the bill now goes to President Biden, who is expected to sign it into law as soon as Thursday. That's tomorrow. It says in the middle of Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Of course. Of course. After a year of the Asian American community crying out for help from them niggers, today Congress is taking historic action to pass long overdue hate crime legislation and send the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act to President Biden's desk. Representative Judy Chu. The broad bipartisan vote demonstrates just how much these daily tragedies of anti-Asian violence have shocked our nation into action. It's a momentous day, added Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who represents a San Francisco district where multiple anti-Asian hate incidents have occurred, including the death last year of an elderly Thai American man and the stabbing of two Asian American women just this month. But again, who's going to be the face of the enemy? Jake. Jake. And here's the thing. The legislation makes no mention of Donald Trump, though many Democrats have warned that rhetoric from the former president and his allies, including the terms China virus and Kung flu, have provoked many of the verbal and violent attacks against the Asian American community. Since the start of the pandemic in March 2020, there have been more than 6,600 hate incidents against Asian Americans, according to the group Stop AAPI Hate. Nearly two-thirds of those incidents targeted women. Mm-hmm. There you go. Let's see how much time I got. I got to keep checking because I've got a time limit on this. So, hey, Shalom, Markham. Shalom, shalom, shalom.